So I was thinking that maybe we could wait, I got a little smudge here. Hello, welcome. My name is Chaida, and I am a Black conservative content creator and writer. And this is my channel where I discuss relevant issues surrounding people, society, culture, and politics. I like to start each episode with a scripture. And today's scripture you can find in James 2, and I have my Bible just right here, and it is in verse 8. And it says, if you really keep the royal law found in scripture, love your neighbor as yourself, you are doing right. That is a very interesting scripture that I totally picked out myself from the Bible today, because according to the topic of this episode, I'm going to be discussing about mass deportations and why it is a good thing. Because I know there are plenty of anti-ICE and pro-illegal immigration fanatics gonna come storming over me, and they're gonna be preaching how there is no love like Christian hate. I myself am a lot of things. I'm a conservative. I like to write. I obviously like to podcast and upload video to YouTube. There are also personal things about me. For instance, I share the fact that I grew up in the foster care system plenty of times on this channel and on my social media pages. I'm also a daughter of immigrants. Both my biological mom and dad both migrated here to the United States from the Congo. I'm not sure where specifically in the Congo, more specifically the Democratic Republic of Congo, but I'm not really sure where in the Democratic Republic of Congo yet. I think I've had bits of pieces of information over the years, but I still don't have enough to create a whole story for you guys. So yes, I can have compassion for the issues that people are going on, that people have that are going on in the world. And trust me, there is so much strife. There is so much um, inhumane attacks on other vulnerable groups of people happening across the world. And I think I'm going to do an episode highlighting on those issues of things that are going on in the world that people don't just see. But even if they do understand, that still doesn't really justify for how people have abused our immigration system. So I'm going to start off with point A. Why are mass deportations a good thing? Well, we have become too reliant on immigrants. We have. We have become a nation that's way too reliant on immigrants. And some people like to make the argument that that's a very good thing. Well, it's not. Because as you have, some of you have already known, we are at a population decline. Not enough Americans are having babies. So that means we're not able to replace our current populations. And without that population growth, we basically are becoming more and more extinct. And that's why more and more people are getting on board with the pro immigration, pro open borders strategy, thinking that immigrants are going to be the key to helping us grow as a nation when it's not. And we need to put an end to the people abusing the system. Look, when I voted for Donald J. Trump for the past two elections, but it's more specifically this previous election in November 2024, I did not go into that voting booth with the idea that if Trump were to be elected, that everything was going to be all dandelions and we're just going to be one big happy nation. No, I didn't go into that thinking that that was going to be the case, because as stressful as it is, we needed this. We needed this to happen, and we would not be where we are if it weren't for the stupid decisions that previous administrations have done with leaving the borders wide open, not taking account of who's coming into the country or who's exiting, but more importantly, who's coming into the country. We have a cartel problem here. We have a gang problem here, and we need to get a handle on this. So with that being said, ICE is very much needed, is very much wanted. And I know that I am not an outlier in this. I know that there is at least 74 million of Americans that are on my side when it comes to this issue. So I know that I cannot be alone when it comes to this. But before I continue on, I'm going to get a lipstick break in. Where's my lipstick at? Because you know your girl talks so much and she needs her moment to get a lipstick break. This is Ruby Kisses and the color is plum. Yeah, I got it at like a beauty store. I love beauty products so much. All right, now I can get back to it. So with that being said, when we address the immigration system and keep track of who's coming into the country, we can then, as conservatives, start to spread the message of what it truly means to be America first. A lot of the anti-ICE and pro-illegal immigration fanatics like to promote the message that we're a nation of immigrants. Yes, we are. And that's the beauty of America, that we are a nation of immigrants. We are a melting pot. But here's the thing. We as a nation have come together and not only look up to God, but we look up to the Constitution. We look up to the Declaration of Independence, because we as a nation, we have ideas, we have principles, we have a way of life that is unmatched compared to other countries across the world. That is both a dream, that is both a dream and also a privilege. It is a privilege to come to this country. It is a privilege to be an American. So, with saying that, when we say America first, we're not talking about pushing all the immigrants out the way, putting them back down and focusing on Americans. We mean all Americans, those who were born here and those who've been legalized through the system. And in that, when people say we are a melting pot, yes, we come from various backgrounds. We come from many different cultures. But the one thing that made us so unique is that we became one nation, one body indivisible under God. That means despite all of our differences, we come together and we look to the Lord to provide us a way. That's why we have the Constitution. That's why we have the Declaration of Independence. That's why we went through a war. That's why we have our founding fathers, because our founding fathers had the idea that a country where good men and good women can come together and see each other as equals can do great things. We need to be a nation of sovereignty, and we need to be a nation of freedom. We need to be a nation of independence, and more importantly, we need to be a nation of liberty. And there is nothing liberating about bringing in a bunch of illegals in and then having the American taxpayers pay for their hotel, pay for the cell phone bills, pay for the healthcare costs. No, that is not the way. You don't take our fellow Americans' last dollar and you spent it on illegal immigrants, knowing that you have veterans sleeping on the street. So what does this mean? What does any of this mean? It means, as painful as it looks, as many heartbreaking stories are out there, mass deportations are a good thing. They needed to happen. We needed to address this rather quickly than when it was too late. Just because every heartbreaking story, every person that comes through our border has facing some sort of adversity, doesn't mean that we need to roll out the red carpet for them. No, it doesn't mean that. I came from a place of adversity. You don't see me breaking into Canada. You don't see me going across oceans to go and break into another country, because you know what will happen to you if you try that? So yeah, I think us Americans, we're more than generous when it comes to our immigration policy. When and on the other note, when it comes to DACA, which if you don't know what DACA is, it stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. That means kids who came through the border, whether by themselves or with parents or with the coyotes, whatever that may look like. When they came across the border illegally, they got this status. They got papers that prove that they got here by no decision of their own. They didn't have a choice in the matter, illegally, and they made previous
enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century.
Some of y'all forgot Obama
administration, thank you, Barack Obama, made way for them to have documentations, to have papers, to have a legal standing in this country. And you know what? As harsh as I have been in this video when it comes to undocumented immigrants, I do have a soft spot for DACA. I do. I think we, as a nation, we can have compassion for the neighbor that had their whole lives uprooted just because their parents made a decision, or because other people made a decision for them. We can have compassion for people. We can have empathy for people, but that doesn't mean we have to be the doormat for everyone. So what does that look like? I think it's time that we have a real conversation about allowing DACA recipients to become American citizen. And there has been legislation introduced in Congress that will help allow that, but it's very unclear if it has been passed. I haven't really done much research on it, but I think we can make a plan for DACA recipients to become citizen, because at least these kids didn't have a say in the matter. The adults do. The adults know what they're doing. That's the difference. And as much as I like to are we on the right side of history? Listen, I'm not going to say that conservatives and Republicans are 100% correct on this. I'm not going to even say the Democrats or the progressives are 100% correct on this. I think it's just a mix of emotions, and we're doing the best that we can with the cards that we are dealt with, and the situation is for what it is, and this is where we are. So going forward, I think it would be great if we have dialogue about these issues. I think it would be great if we can talk to one another, immigrant to citizen, on how we can better help people who are trying to migrate here more efficiently, legally. But yeah, I think there's a conversation that needs to be had between where everyone can have a seat at the table. So yeah, if you have gotten to this point of the video, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on for nearly 20 minutes or so. So if you like this video, please give me a subscribe or follow if you're watching this on any other platform besides YouTube. And if you could like this video, that'd be also awesome. And also leave a comment. Always be free to give me feedback on how I did, or if you would like me to address other topics as well. And if you are new here and you don't really know me yet, you can get an insight into my life on any of my social media pages that are available in the links, in the show's description. And in each episode, it's also available in the description of each episode. And if you are a returning guest to my show, thank you so much for your continuous support. I love you always. Well, until I see you next time, have a lovely day.